guys, we are back, and it is our pleasure to have Jay Rodriguez, a friend of mine, a friend to the show now.
Yes.
He is the amazing OG culture guy from OG Queer Eye, and he was recently in Bros and Uncoupled on Netflix. He is a singer, TV host, actor on both stage and screen. Welcome, Jay.
Thanks for the lovely intro. James and I go back, but I really felt like I got to know you even better watching the Patty Stanger interview, because she will bring it out of you because she's so charismatic that she kind of disarms you. Well, she like disarms you where you're not like as boundaried. I mean, talking about love, sex, and relationships the way you do so beautifully here, it takes an element of like vulnerability and honesty and how much do I want to share? But what I think is so great is your real life besties. So the kind of things you say to each other are the conversations that not enough people are having. And so this sort of gives them a vehicle to kind of, if they don't have friends like this, that it can actually have those discussions with y'all through the screen.
Yeah, I always said it also be mean to me because like it's fun because we can do that. Like what other people out there in the world on a show together are like, you're allowed to call me whatever loose lipped. She just called me loose lipped and leaky.
Yeah,
it wasn't a sexual reference.
No, but your point is true. Is we actually started this podcast because we do know that people. It's hard for people to make friends now. Like forget about relationships. Friends are hard to find, so it's hard to even ask your friends when you don't have them for advice. So that's really why.
And even like the older you get, or like if you get into a routine, if you're not in new spaces to meet new people, it's hard to maintain that. I found that like the older I get, if I really want to have a friend, I literally say, "So I want to be your friend." They're like, "We are friends." I'm like, "No. I want to let you know that I actually want to put in the effort to, instead of saying, let's hang out soon, let's open up our calendars and plan something." Because the let's hang out soon in this town, it's never going to happen. Yeah. You actually have to make a plan. And that is showing me you care. You actually want to be in my life. And let's just figure something out now.
Where do you meet people here?
It's hard. I'll be honest, like meeting folks, especially for me, because I'm not like huge. I don't like love going out. So I feel like it's through friends of friends or dinner parties. It's really tricky. It's tricky because I'm also like a man of a certain age. And so I'm in my 40s. And so.
And you don't want to go out.
I don't necessarily want to be out at like, midnight on a Tuesday, you know?
Patty was saying the other day that we should go to join a new gym, do a new, what were the other things? There was a couple of things and I thought she was really good with the advice. She was a little mean. But
find your passion and find people that also like have some intersection with that.
Yeah.
If you have hobbies, like I have a bunch of hobbies. And so I've not, my hobbies I feel like are straight people hobbies, but like there's not a whole lot of queer presence in there. However, I will say like I have started saying what I want, meaning telling friends, man, I'm really struggling, like finding people who, and they're like, oh my God, my friend, and he's having and you should come to. So sometimes putting what you want out there gives people an opportunity to present that to you.
Yeah.
Just verbalizing.
Yeah, because if folks don't know, they're probably like, oh, she's fine. Elsa's fine. She doesn't need,
So sometimes you need other people to validate too how you're feeling by saying like, ah, man, this is like what's going on.
Yeah, I'm going through it too.
Oh,
yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be that deep either, but just having some type of validation on what's.
You're right. Yeah. We're all like so similar. So like it's just that people don't speak.
Validate,
so the moment that you say something that you think, oh wow, this is just me, like it's never just you. And then so the moment that you can relate with someone like that, I mean, there's not that many instances that we don't go through mutually. Yeah. Like having the same experience.
I think that it's hard. It's impossible to find people. I'm in my 20s and I don't like to go out. Nobody likes to go out anymore. I can't imagine.
Can I ask if any part of it is because you are recognizable? Because I feel like in some spaces, I know that a certain portion of the room is like, that's so-and-so. And so I feel a little uncomfortable in some spaces. And I wonder if that adds to it for you.
For sure. For me, I know that I'm known in certain circles and it's hard because people gossip and whatever. I like to keep to myself and I'm private. And I also don't want people to know who I am and then try to tell me that they don't, because that happens a lot where they'll know who I am and then they'll act like they don't. And it's weird to me.
Listen.
Why do they do that?
Because I think that they don't want to admit to me because they want to have a chance with me and they know that it's going to creep me out. I don't want somebody that watches my stuff or knows exactly who I am. The relationship that have been successful for me and they've barely been successful are the people that had no idea.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there's something about the dishonesty where
from the beginning.
I've been working for like 26, 27 years professionally. So maybe at some point someone has seen something.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm fine with that.
Or even if you give them your Instagram, they're gonna
and they see it, it's fine. But when you go out of your way to pretend that you're unaware of someone's professional history, which is not who they are, it's just what they did for work.
Yeah.
And you pretend, I feel like the dishonesty is like, why don't we just like acknowledge what it is, move past it? Because I am not my work. My work was my job, you know, and many of those moments are done and they're in the past, and there might be ebbs and flows, heightened points of visibility, and somewhere it's not. I'm still the same person, regardless of what happens professionally.
What would you want them to say? Like if they knew?
If they know, like also if you're talking about something, if you had a hard day at work and you need a reference point, you're like, do I need to explain what I do for a living? Or like, do they already know and could just be shorthand about it? Or if I'm doing something with the OG Queer Eye guys, do I have to explain what the show was? Or like, can I just be shorthand because you already know?
Yeah.
Sorry, my ride's here. That's my helicopter.
That was a good one. I like that little segue.
Oh, it is a nice little helicopter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we've got a little bit longer to go.
Well, we are in a very beautiful part of town, and so it wouldn't surprise me if there was a helicopter pad somewhere around here.
This is true.
Do you guys not have one? How'd you get here today?
Oh,
sometimes we use it. Just messenger. Right over there, you see that roof wheeling right there.
The only time that I pretend that I don't recognize someone if I'm with them is if I want them to. They want me to recognize them, and it's like a thing where it's like I'm this, and I'm like, that's sorry, icky. Don't know.
Yeah, it's
like, and that's just to like give them a little.
I do that too. I do that too. I'll be like, oh, okay.
Like you should know who I am. I'm like, no, don't.
Have you had someone be like, you should know who I am?
Yeah,
I always make the distinction that my work is not who I am, because they'll say, I know who you are, and I'll correct them and say, no, you don't. You know what I've done for work, but you don't know me. Your experience of me will be your experience of me. But your experience of watching something on television that was scripted, directed, and edited, you know, especially for the things that are acting things, I'm like, that's not really me. You saw me at work. Nice. So you can see what I can do in that space, but it's not really me, you know.
I get it.
All right, we're going to circle back to Jay in a second.
Okay.
Let's start the Heartbreakers Hotline. This is the hotline. People call in. It's great. You should call it with a question.
Do you ever get like people calling for dirty birdie things? Like
we've had masturbating guys.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I figured.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, I mean, see, there I am again.
He loves telling people that people call. We were just in a like a legit meeting earlier
with
this
a television production company.
Yes, and he's like, yeah, people love to call and masturbate. I'm like, James, no, we don't need to tell everybody that they masturbate. No, it doesn't. It grosses people out. We're done with calling and masturbating.
I need to check his voicemails. Maybe that's just normal in James's inbox.
Yeah.
It was probably me calling the hotline. Yeah. Honestly.
I would be so upset.
We played it on the show. It's not a secret. We played the masturbating one. I think it comes out in Brandy's episode.
Oh my god.
So violent.
Okay. First guy off the rank. I'm a guy who has been in a long-term relationship with a woman for 12 years, but after breaking up, I want to explore my queer side. Love this already. I've always fantasized about being a bottom, but every time I get close to trying with someone, I chicken out. Any advice on how to finally follow through with it?
I love that's all eyes on me. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is, I can actually speak
Classic
to this.
bottom.
Yes, obviously, as a queer person, I have a lot to say about this, but I've also I've sort of witnessed firsthand this evolution of people feeling safe to come out, to explore, to be more honest. All of this is not, the frequency has not changed. It's just people are more comfortable talking about it, right? Some of these people have always been curious about their sexuality and suppressed it for fear of the stigma or judgment or even work, safety, all these other issues that come into play. So this gentleman ending a relationship with someone long-term now is like, okay, I'm free to explore. And before he gets too old and we have a Grace and Frankie situation and he's doing it as a senior, he's probably wanting to try it. I have to tell you, some of the straight men that I've spoken to who have this thing, I think a lot of queer men fantasize about straight men topping them, right? And many straight men have fantasies about being penetrated because it's something that is absent in their sexuality. And of course, the way the body is built.
They're used to penetrating. They're probably like, what does penetration feel like?
And honestly, someone may try it. And you know, when I was doing the original Queer Eye, we found a dildo in this guy's nightstand. And it kind of caught us off guard. And he was like, we all like looked up at him, and he was like, it's not gay if a girl does it. Which is true. Like
they love butt stuff.
Yes. What if you have this
queen.
physical body? It's your
You are the
temple.
butt queen. She's always shoving things up guys' asses. Straight guys, right?
Straight. I won't out anybody.
I just don't think it makes someone gay to have something on their prostate.
Well, there's
I think
that's where a G spot is.
I think it's a must for men. I think that if men haven't explored it, they should, because I think that it really is great for them.
And that act does not mean that once they try that with you, that they're going to run out and be like, I need to find a man.
But I think your point about the frequency has not changed was a really good one. So like every now and then, and I had that thought at one stage, I was like, wow, are people becoming more like gay or queer or whatever? No, it's just more accepted now. So there was always, there's always that scale that exists. The Kinsey scale, is it? Yeah. So like that's always been there. Now you might be lower on the scale, so you're not like that willing to try it, or you have like, you're a 1 and it's hardly there for you. But there are a lot of like 20s and 30s and 40s on the scale of 1 to 100.
But for this dude, I would say you gave great bottoming advice in the last episode that I saw, which is quite simply know what you're going in for. You know, if you're going to have house guests enter your home, make sure the home is clean. And you can simply do that by using water, getting on a fiber-rich diet, maybe adding Metamucil to your diet.
Yes, that's
anything
the
like
biggest
that.
savior, because I'm lazy. So I just want to have the most
It gets all the kids' toys together, so it's easy to get rid of when company comes over.
Yes.
Wink, wink.
So he's saying on advice on how to follow through, you would say, because he's saying that he's chickened out. So before he even
So he's already met guys, right? Because he's chickened out. He's probably, chatted. And we can become keyboard warriors sexually with people we're attracted to and say stuff that we ain't never going to try.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it's hot. And then you get there and you're like, I don't think I want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's okay. I think, first of all, for him, it would be finding a partner or a person that he can feel safe saying, look,
even a female,
this may not even go down.
Yeah.
This is just what I'm curious about. Are you willing to be patient with me and try this out? I guarantee you most people would find that arousing.
Yeah.
You know, just to be lit on a, don't let it just
so
be
you're
your
saying
secret.
Another man, go to
a man or a woman, whoever he wants to be penetrated by, let them know, hey, I'm not even sure I like this, but I want to explore it on my time, my pacing, and I want to make sure you're cool with it. I don't want to disappoint you, but I don't want to set up false expectations of what may or may not happen. Because your comfortability, it'll be,
like the act of it should be very slow and steady. Like there is nothing about what you would ever see in a porno.
It's about it,
like it just needs to be, because it's like expanding and contracting, and you don't want to like get it.
Yeah, there's a whole science to it, but I think as long as you find someone that's safe and you can be honest with about, go slow, take your time, do your research on how to prepare yourself so mentally you're not concerned about that. And then also that the person you're with is not going to shame you, pressure you, or make you do something you don't want to do, or be grossed out. You know, and explore safely, I guess, is my biggest takeaway.
And you can do that and go back to girls if you don't like it. Like,
absolutely.
you are not going to be pigeonholed as only being a bottom.
I had a husband that started sleeping with my best friend's husband, and I only was upset because it was dishonesty. Like, you can't cheat with you. You can't cheat with anybody, right?
Yeah.
So I personally like a little bit of bisexualness.
Yes, hot.
I like that, but I need the honesty. So
I think that's the biggest thing in relationships. If you feel, I had an ex who, he wanted me to book a trip for his father, was coming to town. It's like a fishing trip, and I typed in something in his Google, and like a sexual website fetish one came out, specific fetish, and I felt bad because it was most frequently watched for him. I felt bad because I brought it up. I was like, hey, and he thought I was judging him. So he was like, oh, I don't know how that got there. Years later, he's like, yeah, I was really into that. And I was like, I felt bad that whatever I said or did, or maybe you just didn't feel confident enough, you couldn't tell me.
Yeah.
And it felt like you cut off a piece of your sexuality because you thought I couldn't handle it, or you weren't comfortable. But I would have loved to have supported exploring that in a safe way for you, so you didn't feel like it was your dirty little secret you had to keep hidden. You know?
For the people listening, I think they should say it exactly how you just said it. If you have a partner where you've seen something sexually where they might feel embarrassed about, saying it exactly like that, instead of being like, what is this?
Because the what is it is not going to get you what you want. What you want, especially if you're a partner that discovers something that maybe blows your mind or makes you a little uncomfortable. Before you knee-jerk reactive jump on another person, sit with it for a second. Really, if this were you, how would you want someone to approach you? And if your end goal is intimacy, meaning I want this situation, however it works out, I want honesty, and I want this to bring us closer. If that's your objective, try to meet them halfway. So you create a space where being honest is not going to be punishable.
Yeah. Yes,
I
you're
love
so
that.
right, and you're so mature for that. You really like seriously.
Look, by the way,
so
I'm
hard.
saying this, but it's hard in practice.
It's so
Right?
hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard just to even somebody for me. There's things where I'm like, I want just more anal, and it's hard to even just go to the person and be like, I want more anal.
Well, especially I think also there's such stigma for women suggesting that, and the tropes of what is someone going to think about me if I say that. It's like finding that partner who's like, babe, whatever you need me to do
I'll
to
do
your
it.
body that is going to bring you pleasure, I'm here for that
You need
journey.
a real perv to be like whatever you want and need. That's how you guys.
I will tell you, I don't know if you've been on where it's you're getting close to sexy time on the date scale. Like you've gone on a couple, it's coming. It hasn't happened yet. And they subtly drop sexual icks, like things that they don't like, they don't want to do. And like some of them might be in your wheelhouse of things that you really love. It's so frustrating because I'm like, I don't know why you would close yourself off to something or say that without checking in on how they feel. I mean, I guess it's someone saying that's my boundary. I don't want to cross that. But I definitely have ended things with people who were like, oh yeah, that's not going to be.
You can be not compatible that way. Yeah.
But I try not to be the person that ends things because there's, I'm sure, things I've yet to try, or I tried once and it didn't go well that one time. But I try to keep an open mind because I'm like, I don't know, maybe I could get into it with you.
Revisit.
Because I like you and I'm open to exploring it. It may not be great. It may be wonderful, but I want to stay open to it.
Sex can be gross and scary, and people
it could also be hilarious.
It could be
like there's a lot of room for comedy and sex gone wrong.
Yes. Why do you think there's so many married men on Grindr?
I think for a lot of the stigma of like as much visibility as we see in queer representation in media and the somewhat seemingly acceptance of it all, we still have, with as much visibility and as much acceptance, you're going to have people doubling down on hate, bigotry, and judgment. And so that, I think even as a queer person, at times I think we can go through our own inner homophobia where we're like, oh God, I don't want to feel judged or any other things. So for straight folks, I feel like they might have societal pressures or old ideas of what being gay or queer means. And also, let's acknowledge that if they're on Grindr, they might be looking to explore solely sexually and don't want an emotional connection to a man, but have a part of their Kinsey scaleness that they're aroused by the act, but they don't really want to take it any further. I definitely have known folks. I mean, we did I won't say which one. We did 100 episodes of Queer Eye on my Queer Eye, and one of the guys was into men also, and his female partner, to the best of my knowledge, was unaware. But he made that very clear to me. And we did not talk about it on camera because I didn't want to clock his tea. But like, it was remarkable to me because he was not going to explore it emotionally with a guy. But to the best of what I felt like I heard from what he was sharing, he was hooking up. He was, and that's all he wanted.
I feel like on some of the dating apps, so that married thing is kind of like a fetish, like a kink,
also
and they're not really married. They're not really straight.
Low key, it's like Lance, the guy who like is the DJ at the gay bar who's like, I'm gonna say I'm married.
Because it's like a hot thing to gay guys to have someone that's like kind of straight.
You go
so
there,
they're like,
I'm
curious, and I've never had sex with a guy before. Meanwhile,
not to be a cliche,
he has like
but
a douche in his handbag.
There is a subculture of fetish play with the term straight and married, and I get it,
and I'm falling for it every time, and I love it.
You love it. So wait, unpack that for me. What is the attraction to you for someone who might be unavailable, like straight?
I think it's that they don't want me. No, I'm just kidding.
I think there is something too. There's safety. You're like, well, he's not going to want more than what I can give.
Or do you want something that you can't have? Is that what it really is? Like women wanting married men? Is it that simple?
I think that it's that I like more masculine guys too. So maybe they're a little bit more masculine just as the territory would go, and it would kind of just like cut through me having to figure it out because I'm like, oh, they're seeing a woman. But then also, I don't know. I think it's just.
I mean, are you like you're saying currently looking for the married dudes, or because in a previous podcast, I did hear that you didn't feel like you were in a space to be with anyone.
No, and I'm not.
So why not a perfect like?
Actually, I'm coming back out of that. By the way, I was going to mention that today. I am starting to. Well, I just got on Ozempic too, so I'm feeling
He
a little
loves
bit
telling
cute.
everybody.
You got a what?
I just
got on
started Ozempic like 3 days ago,
Okay.
so I'm gonna be like, okay. One of the things holding me back was I wasn't feeling good about my body.
Oh.
And I was kind of reaching for food a lot, and it was kind of like this weird. You know what? As well, I got out of that marriage. It's been like 2.5 years now. It's just
Wait, that's
almost
it?
time. Plus, yeah.
Oh, so you were freshly divorced
Yes.
when I met you? Like,
yeah,
were
I had a
you
mental
even
breakdown like
divorced?
a year and a half ago. So it's taken
Were you
some time
even
to
divorced
put.
when I met you?
No.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, when we
wow.
first met, I
You were-
wasn't.
but I will say in the
Wow, I
last
didn't know
in the
that.
last podcast I saw, you said something really profound to me that I totally get. You said, how can I welcome someone in and I want them to love and respect the person that I am when I'm still trying to access who I want to be post-marriage? And
I could cry about that.
no, but I get it, because there's times, especially being a gig worker and an influx of like, you know, not being my job or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm used to like meeting someone and then immediately, if they've got a great job, stability, all the other things, and if in that moment, that day, I feel I don't, it doesn't matter all the positive qualities I bring to the table, I will still tier myself lower than them and say I don't want to be with them because what could they possibly see in me?
Yeah.
You know, not logical. It's just my
Yeah,
feeling, which is not a
yeah,
fact.
yeah.
But that really spoke to me when you said that, because I get that feeling.
Yeah.
But then the flip side is I look at you and I think, handsome, great body. But if you don't feel that way
Yeah, it
about
doesn't- it
yourself,
doesn't matter.
even
Yeah.
though that's how I have always seen you, it's how we see ourselves. And I don't think you'll ever see yourself the way others see you. You know?
Which is why I'm trying not to reach externally, even though I just said I'm going on Ozempic. It really is, it's, I mean, I'm more purposeful now too, so I think that that's probably helped a lot.
Yeah.
But I just didn't care about it for a while because I'm like, okay, I'm not unpacking that right now. I'm just going to get a purpose, go and do some more shit with my life, which is really working out well because everything else is falling away. I'm just not caring as much now because I don't hold my entire identity in if other people will like me, even though I still do a lot. I just am happy to be like, I could take it or leave it.
Okay.
And that in that space, then it'll be like, well, if someone really comes banging down my door, I'll be open.
Why don't you just have little crushes? I love having little crushes while
I'm
I'm trying to work through
Yeah, I'm curious
shit.
about that. Why don't you have little crushes?
I'm scared that I will revert back to old behavior.
Which
and
was?
then I will
What was the old behavior?
use people like a drug and be like,
Oh.
okay, now
You get
I'm here
obsessed
with
with
you.
them? Okay,
Not
okay.
obsessed. I will never, because I don't want to ever look obsessed. So like, but I would like, I will then be like,
You want to spend all your time with them.
yeah, and I'll be thinking about them, and I don't know, I might be a bit obsessive, like in the way that I think, well, if I give that attention away and that accidentally goes over there, I'm going to miss out on all these other things like work related at the moment. So I'm probably overthinking it as I do. So that's why I keep cutting myself off from it, because I'm having a really good time. I actually, at the moment, am really enjoying my life. I'm having a really great time. So I guess I just don't want to topple that over. But at the same time, if I go too long in this space, I might become a bit weird and not like, I do need to have, you know, there's various aspects to your life, like the whole pie chart needs to also, there is love and relationship that if I don't fill that space for a really long time, that probably will show up in other areas of my life.
You don't want it to put. You don't want to
Yeah.
push it to where it's awkward for you to even just
Yeah.
engage in sex again. Like you don't. You don't want to
Well,
wait
that's
too
me
long.
now because it's been
Oh.
years. And then, you know,
It's been years since you've had sex.
yes,
Now, are we defining sex like penetration?
everything.
Everything.
Even oral.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, okay, it hasn't been years. It's been like a year. But then now, and I'm even becoming one of those weird dog people. It's just me and Moo Moo. Oh, yeah.
No, that's not weird.
That's that.
It's
Yeah.
not weird. And then also, I just learned something new. I guess there's not enough tops.
Is that true?
That's what you told me.
Yes.
You told me
No,
that
that's
the
always a
other
joke.
day.
You know,
There's
please
not,
God,
like,
bring
no.
us a top. And it's like those guys laying there
I'm
three bottoms out.
primarily a top, and I feel like
There's too many tops.
no. I
Oh.
feel like I don't. It's not even something I consider because I guess their bottoms are plentiful. But I
Yes,
will
but
say,
that's what he
but I
was
will say,
saying.
like I say that, but I feel like
They're laughing in the background. Bottoms are plentiful.
No,
Is that
I feel like
That's what you said.
I
but
always
there's-
say, people
No,
like,
it's-
what are you talking about? I said, listen, I'm well built for all occasions,
You're well
you know, and I will
built.
show up to the
I
right. But I also feel like, you know, part of creating chemistry with a partner is like, you know, I don't know. Chemistry will dictate what I want to do based on what you're giving me. There's some moments where in some dynamics, I'm more the top, more the bottom, but there'll be, even if I'm dating someone who's like total bottom, and then there'll be that one morning where the sun will just gently caress his morning wood, and I'll be like, that looks like a pony ride waiting to happen. You know, I feel like even if you have hard set rules, there's that one full moon where you want to mix it up a little bit. So I don't like saying one or the other. And if I line up all my exes, they don't look alike. The only thing I could think of that they have in common was they were all a little bit more adventurous and keen to do something that I would have never thought of than me.
They were just perverted. That's what I'm saying. You gotta be with a perv. It's not. It's not even a negative. Like, I don't say perv as like a negative thing. Like, I want a freak. Like a freak.
Yeah.
Freak.
No, she was telling me about someone who said what their kink was the other day, and it seemed pretty normal to me. And she's like, "That was his kink." Like, and it was. Kind of,
I would say.
Well, when someone says vanilla these days,
yes.
you're like, I mean, but who's vanilla? Is there vanilla bean? Like, what are we talking here? Like, you know what I mean? Because everyone's version of whatever baseline they have is a little different.
But you know what the problem is now is people overdoing like being a freak. Like,
they're
people
trying
being
to be
like,
a freak.
I love all this. Like, I saw this video and they were talking about scat play, right? This girl, and I was like, I could tell her saying it. I was like, you're just saying it because you want to be a freak, and it's not because you could just tell when someone's passionate about a fetish, right? And then the difference between just proving a point.
Yeah.
So I'm running into a lot of people where they're like,
the poo one, right?
yeah, there's I know I had
that just seems very messy.
Push.
Push. I mean, listen, that's not something I've engaged with, but I will say there's a lot of things that like water sports, which is like but I had a boyfriend in a shower once who just started peeing on me. It wasn't sexual, but in his mind, we're in the shower. That's where he peed all the time. And it was getting on my leg and I was so grossed out. And he was like, well, I guess I'm not going to ask you to ever pee on me. And I was like, was that a thing for you? And he's like, yeah, but based on your response, not going to happen. Years down the line, I did, listen, I peed on someone who asked very nicely.
Outside of the shower?
That just seemed disrespectful if I didn't. It was literally outside in his backyard. That was his thing. Did nothing for me.
Yeah.
But I tried it. You know what I mean?
My mom always says, ask somebody if they pee in the shower, and if they say no, they are a liar and don't talk to them.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Come on. We all pee in the shower. Show of hands.
Everybody pees in the shower, and if you say no, show
Come on, you pee in the shower.
You're a liar.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're
sorry. I feel like I'm taking you so far off track.
This is lovely. We're having the best time. This is why we need more gays on the show. It is so fun. Yes, I
like this question. Is the daddy kink actually that common? I find it weird, but many men want to be called it during sex. I always say it awkwardly. Should I just not say it?
So what I find interesting about the term daddy is in gay culture, when I was younger, it meant a specific age demographic of gay men, generally salt and pepper, maybe even just like the sugar daddy provider type. And some men of that age group embraced it. And some were like, I might be that age, but I'm nobody's daddy. Then society was like, yeah, daddy, as a colloquialism for like hot, stud, whatever, energy.
For me, it's hot. It means
like like my friend who's 26, he likes it when people call him daddy. He does not look like a daddy. It's sort of a state of mind. I don't mind it. I mean, I don't mind it. I think
I hate it. I don't want people calling me sir either.
But we already established you want a straight talk.
Fuck off. Like, and at my age, I'm like, just because you work in a cafe, don't call me sir.
What would you like them to call you?
Well, like, that's like not like you are ma'am. Like, they even call young people ma'am. I don't like that whole thing.
I don't really
Same for daddy, though. I mean, I guess I have to get with that because I am.
No. Let me. So what does that bring up for you, though? I'm curious. The term daddy, you're really into a guy. I'm assuming at this point we've already established masculine top.
He's there with you. Would you be calling him daddy, or he would be calling you daddy?
I think he would.
One, it seems a little staged to me. I'm like, where are the cameras? Why are we in a porno? Like, why do you need to call me? My name is James, or like, babe, or like whatever.
What are your, if daddy's bad, what would be good? Give me some sexual.
I don't know, I might be just in a foul mood, but but no, as well, I don't know, it just seems a little
babe.
Overplayed, maybe? You feel like it's
Who called me? Oh, that random guy at the cafe across the road the other day, he called me Bubba, and I didn't even know it. And he was like, I was like, oh, that was kind of cute.
Yeah. Bubba,
the daddy thing, I'm not your dad.
Listen, I go back and forth with it. I've never dated someone long term that used it regularly. I've had it pop up here and there. I think the times that it's like is when it's the Spanish equivalent, which is papi. When someone who's not Latin or Spanish is like, sup papi, and then they try to you can see they're trying to relate with you. I'm like, my Spanish is like J-Lo before Selena. Okay, like it is real, remedial, Nuyorican, busted Spanish. So you're coming at me because you might be fetishizing. Here's another thing too, with Latin.
I am fetishized. That sounded hard when you said it though.
But when
The accent,
there's
for
all
sure.
these things that guys who come at me who specifically chase Latin guys want and expect. Some of them, I'm not going to be able to meet you on that level. Namely, they may be looking exclusively for an uncut Latin person. I am circumcised. So literally it's...
Wait, why does the circumcision
I
come
don't
into-
know. I don't know why it's... For some people, it's a really big fetish and they assume you come with it. And when you get to know them and you get there, I have literally had guys be like, I mean, the size is great, but I was kind of hoping you'd be uncut.
Why
Like,
are they
maybe not
so-
the conversation to have in this exact second, because now I don't want to hook up.
That's so rude.
It's weird.
That's so rude.
I mean, I was
would
telling her
never-
the other day and she didn't believe me. Like, people that are on gay dating apps, they'll go to your house, stand there, the door opens, and then it's like, oh, no, thank you. I don't think this is going to work out. And you're like, she was like, what? How do you
I've
do
gone to
that?
people's places
I
and
find
I've
it
been
weird
like-
too. Like, I'm agreeing with you. Like, I would be like, okay, I guess we'll have sex now because you're already here. Like, just,
I would
Yeah,
literally say I don't like the apps don't work for me unless it's someone I know and I've met them a couple times and that's my in. I would sooner hook up with someone that you were like, this is my friend, we're having a little kiki, come over, we'll hang out, we'll get Instagrams. Then if later, I can't do the stranger danger in the age of Facetune and everyone, included myself included, putting up how we want the world to see us. But not necessarily maybe exactly what we look like. Like when you're writing your own bio, that you're like, this is kind of what I want. This is what I think of me.
Do you write bios? Because like I'm on Raya
Mm-hmm.
and I don't put a bio. Like I don't read people's bios. So
I haven't been on an app for years. I only
guess
did
I
it
usually
once on
choose
Grindr. And do you
sex.
remember, because you were from like around where you
Yeah.
that JD Ordinez? Remember?
Yes.
So he was the one guy. Oh my God, this is a big reveal on this show because I already said that I got crabs from somebody, my only ever Grindr hookup.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh wait,
God,
I just
dear
named him.
listener.
Oh my God.
We'll just bleep the name out there.
no, he
dear
gave
editor.
you crabs. You're allowed to say
Okay,
that.
fine.
He
The
gave
dolphin trainer from the real
crabs
world.
were going extinct. I thought I read an article about that we'd almost
Clearly
eradicated
not.
them.
Well, this was like it was about 8 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay,
Vintage
okay.
crabs.
Yeah. I didn't keep them. Thankfully. Jeez.
Did you want to?
Oh, they were cute.
But that was the point was that was from a hookup.
Yeah.
And so ever since then you're a
Grindr.
little gun shy about apps.
And I just don't love the whole fact that maybe I'm like number 5 of the day. I'm like, ugh, it's just a little bit
So
much.
it's more intense in this world than it is for
I'm a little
heterosexual.
like animation equals attraction for me. So when the way you move, the way you carry yourself, the way you guys that's like, oh, they're hot because a part of their personality turns me on. So I feel like, my mind is more connected to my dick than like someone could be so ripped and so hot, does nothing
No
for me
personality.
if there's nothing there. Yeah.
bad
Well,
personality.
that's the thing. So,
yeah.
like with the apps, then I'm thinking if someone is like, that's all they're thinking about all day and like they're going through it, like, it's not everyone on apps, but like, I don't find that attractive if I'm like, what else are you doing? So you go to work, then you get home, you turn the app on straight away and you just like have sex with people. And that's pretty much it.
I don't think everybody, I think a lot of people posture on that app as going back to your term, validation.
Mm-hmm.
He liked me. He tapped me. This really hot guy liked me. And then they put the phone down. Because I also like Tinder. I feel like I get collected on Tinder. We matched. Hi. What do you go? Nothing. Then they ghost. So I feel like sometimes people just want to acquire you. And I don't know if you experience that on Raya, but they don't even want to take it any further on some of the apps.
That's why I was saying just have a crush. I was just telling you in the car.
Let's get
like,
you a crush.
I don't even care if like having like I have a crush right now and I don't even care if he just stays a pen pal because he hypes me every day,
Yeah, I
all day
like that.
long. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel validated. You know what I mean?
I don't
like,
have
why
a
not
crush
get
that does that for me. Dear watcher, if you're out there and you have no, but I also just feel like I would love that.
Yes.
Just a
I
little
just
crush.
remembered something that Elsa revealed to me last week in New York. She has been chatting to an inmate in prison as
Oh,
me,
yes.
trying
Yes,
to get
for
me a
him.
boyfriend that's an inmate. I thought he was on.
Is he a straight
in
top?
jail? He's
Oh, I didn't ask.
Little Dangerous?
There's two of them. One is on trial for murder. Oh no, not on trial. He's convicted of murder.
Okay.
And the other one's
and she was like,
drugs. He's in there for 12 years, or maybe he robbed a bank. It was something.
She's like, no, I thought it'd be sweet because you never have sex with anyone, so then someone can just send you flowers and write you nice letters.
You know, this is someone who's going to get out of prison possibly in 12 years, and you know, the good news is he'll be really pent up and easy to please.
Well, you'll be long gone after that, and you'll get your flowers. You'll get.
I thought it was kind of sweet,
letters.
but then at the same time, I'm like, are they going to send their goonies around to make sure I'm not stepping out?
Oh.
You're not gonna. You're not gonna give them any information. Lie. Because just lie. It's a whole
that's an
company.
interesting dating story. I'm dating someone in prison at the moment.
Honestly, if you said that to me, I would not be shocked.
Yeah.
Me either.
You
That's
are
why
the one.
you
I'm
live
not even. I don't even
Big,
know.
James, you live big. When you tell me things, I'm like you have a big, exciting life, and you downplay a lot of things that I think are really amazing and cool.
Oh.
So if you threw in inmate, I'd be like, well balanced.
Well balanced. Oh, it'll keep me real. Like I'm still Jenny from the block. Like cell block B.
I'm grounded because my partner's in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you met him yet? Not
that
yet.
might be good for me in my image, actually. Like he's doing time. It's not hard
Oh
time.
my gosh.
We'll think about it. Okay.
He's gonna trace his dick.
Oh, yeah, he was gonna trace
photos. He's tracing his dick for him.
Yeah,
so
because he
can
can't
see
take
how
a picture of
big.
it.
They have access to the internet, right?
So what you do is you go through this company, you send them an email, right? They actually print out the email and mail it to the inmates.
Got it.
Because you can't.
So they can't watch the show from prison.
Oh, right.
Can they? Because now, if they can, you're going to get so much inmate. When I was on Queer Eye, I got a lot of inmate fan mail. And I was like, what are they? They were watching it in prison. It's very bizarre. And not bizarre because I didn't expect it.
I've never been to prison, obviously, so I'm not sure. Do they have a TV? I thought there was.
I think they do TV. I mean, Joe Exotic, he is still on Instagram, posting all the time.
What? I gotta follow him.
After this episode comes out.
Yeah, he's running for president again.
We should try to get what's that lady?
Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
Right.
Carol Baskin. Whatever happened to her?
I think that I don't know. Why am I pretending to know what about Carol Baskin?
I think that she's at home right now.
Okay, what's good dirty talk for guys? From a girl to a guy or a guy to a guy? What's some good dirty talk that you like here?
What do you mean, like good dirty talk that turns me on?
Yeah.
I think I like when you like someone and you've already maybe had a little sexy time. I think it's like really oddly affirming, especially if like you've had a strong emotional connection and you've had the sex, to still keep the sexting and stuff going, because it's so easy to connect, and then you can. For me, I get friend boxed because the intimacy starts and they're like, oh God, but if this doesn't work out, then I lose him. I'd rather keep him as a friend. And so you're like, okay, but I'm also trying to be partnered with someone that becomes my best friend who I also fuck. You know what I mean? And so the two. So I think sexy things to me are like explicit sex while you are having like an emotional connection with someone. Descriptive as you can get. I travel a lot for work, and so like I love a good dirty picture where a bathroom and a plane selfie that's naughty. Like I like that element, especially if the entirety of a relationship is more romantic and like intellectual. Like I need some like naughty stuff peppered in,
or maybe even just like a good morning type of nude.
Yeah,
like a good morning sexy nude, or
like
not even.
I even like the idea of like just for no reason or rhyme or reason, like, I can't wait to come home and be inside of you.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, that just changed my day. You know what I mean? Like,
I like that. Good.
Is that too dirty? Let me just tell you, it feels, I mean, it's very weird to like go there, but I know that's what this whole show is about.
Oh my God, we talk about
helpful.
everything.
That's very simple. Like to say, I can't wait to be inside of you, applies to everybody.
Yeah. Or even just like when you didn't know they were looking, like, your ass looks so good today.
Yeah, I like that.
But compliments are dirty talk that people don't realize too.
What's your love language?
Oh yeah.
I think it's touch, and I think it is like words of affirmation.
Yeah.
I think that for me, I'm a very like East Coasty, touchy person, but I'm not like the biggest instigator with that, because I fear that if I do it just because I do it more often, that and it's not reciprocated, that they're not interested. And so I'm kind of cautious about it. But I think words of affirmation, I think definitely are
mine
my
is
love
words of
language.
affirmation. His is words of affirmation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need compliments 24/7.
Or quality
God.
time.
I know.
He does. He really does.
I know.
He really does.
Well, so this section now is all about Jai. It's all been about Jai. And
All
now,
about Jai. Where are we? Jai Ho? It's Jay.
Oh, sorry, Jay.
Listen, as long as you spell it right, I don't care.
The last guest, I was like Kara, but it's Kara.
It's just your accent.
Yeah, I love it. I'm like, I'll take whatever, as long as you call me.
Okay, so
Yes.
recently you talked about your experience singing on to Queer Eye and how an agent told you basically to forget your acting dreams. Do you find that's common in reality TV? And how can people retain their identity as an artist even if they're a host also?
So being a part of the first one of the first big major reality shows or unscripted, it wasn't about our lives, it was about the straight guy. So it was weird because you didn't get to know me as a person on the show. It did 100 episodes, but it was a different era where if you were in one medium of entertainment, it was before we had movie stars doing TV shows.
Right.
Now we have like Nicole Kidman doing TV series. That wasn't a thing back then. There was movie stars, TV stars, and somewhere on the bottom, reality stars. And even though I had a pedigree of like acting work on stage, TV and film before Queer Eye, none of it mattered because now I just spent 3 years telling everyone I was this Puerto Rican Emily Post. And on the network, it was really important for them to preserve the idea that none of us were faking it or actors. And so if I were to play up the fact that I was an actor, there was concern that was shared with me that now you're going to discredit everyone. Well, if he's an actor, then they're probably all faking it. Mm-hmm. So you don't. The show ends. I moved to LA to do a competition singing show. It was like Dancing with the Stars. And I thought this will be my reintroduction. And I did really, really well on it. And then when I got here and I started going, like trying to get auditions for things, people were like, look, man, you made a name for yourself in reality TV. You're a reality star. Like, I don't know I had one agent who he was at an agency that at the time represented the Queer Eye brand, so the producers, and they wanted to sign all 5 of us. And this is like, the show had just launched, it was a big deal. So they bring you in and it's like a really fancy boardroom. Immediately you're intimidated. They have all the nosh and everything. They gave you a pitch. This is why you guys should also be here with us, just like your producers are here with us. These are all the perks. Then they split us up and everyone got an agent that the agency thought was appropriate for them. And I sat across this guy, he said, tell me about what you want to do during this time and then post Queer Eye. I said, listen, man, I'm an actor and I'm really not getting to do that because our work schedule is so crazy. And he looked at me blindly and he said, and mind you, this is 2003. And he said, dude, I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to be the next Antonio Banderas. You know, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's this. So in your mind, that is like the only goal to have, and I'm not going to be able to reach that. And so then I just accepted it because I was used to people saying things like that at that time. And I was like, well, I know some of the guys have like endorsements and stuff. He's like, I mean, you're Latin, you're gay, you're kind of a little effeminate. Like, just being honest, buddy, like we could try like Taco Bell and stuff, but they're more family friendly. I just don't see you in that space. Wow. And I'm thinking like, so why are you sitting across from me? So a week passes and the head of the agency says, hey man, why aren't you signing with us? And I told him what happened. And they said, oh, he was like a junior agent. He didn't really know what he was talking about. He shouldn't have said that. And I was like, the fact that you decided out of all 5 of us, I deserved a junior agent after I'm the only one with credits and things, spoke to that time. But shedding the stigma of reality TV was my driving force when I lived here. And I would literally crash auditions. My agent was like, they don't want to see you, but you're perfect for this. And another client just pulled out, take their time slot, just show up. What are they going to tell you? Leave? So you leave. Yeah. I booked like 3 jobs like that. My first big scripted job was a Ryan Murphy show called Nip Tuck. And after that, the ball started rolling for me. And I became the first guy from reality to make it big on reality to become series regular on a sitcom. Was me, Reba, and Lily Tomlin and Sarah Rue on ABC. And that let me breathe again because I was like, the stories he tried to sell me and the stories I started believing for myself, they're no longer true because I just disproved them. So now from here on in, the only person standing in my own way is myself. You know, and like even last year, you know, being in Bros and playing like a bro-y straight guy and Judd Apatow, I mean, when I was doing the film, Nicholas Stoller, who directed and co-wrote it with Billy Eichner, was like, we saw like hundreds of guys for this roles and you were like 2 lines in and we were like, that's him.
You were really great.
But Nicholas didn't know anything about Queer Eye or anything. He hired me because he liked the portrayal in my audition. And that was so validating because in 2003, 2006, when I left when the show was over, it was a different era. Who you were as a person dictated what you were allowed to do in Hollywood. We won't see you for this because we know you're gay, but it's about the work. It's not about someone's personal life.
Yeah.
And if they can present the work in a way that's accurately telling the story, they should get the job.
How times have changed though, like what you were saying earlier on. Remember, like the actors that were in features couldn't be in series, and like.
But now we're consuming media differently. Like an HBO TV show looks like a movie.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
What's that? It's when like somebody plays a part and then they can only see them as that
Typecast.
Yeah, so that's what that's
I think,
called,
yeah,
right?
and I think for me, like I was really lucky because I kind of snuck in Hollywood where I would get jobs and people like casting wouldn't know that I took queer off my resume.
Mm-hmm.
I grew my beard out because I was not allowed to do it in theater or Queer Eye. So for 8 years, no facial hair. Got the tattoos I always wanted. Basically leaned
Became
into
yourself.
And once I started showing up as myself,
People loved it.
people didn't recognize that as the same kid from Queer Eye. So I'd get the job and they'd be like, oh wait, you were on that show? PR would love it because they're like, well, now when it airs, we can promote you and you can do interviews that maybe if you didn't have your background, you wouldn't have had access to. But yeah, I feel like for a moment, I was like playing every gay bestie. And then I was like, I don't really want to play the gay bestie anymore because there was no arc for them. The stories were not great. So I took a break from even going out for those auditions. And then I started playing like, I got a slew of serial killer murderer types. Apparently that was the other avenue to go down.
Wait, you would be the serial killer?
Yeah, like Bones, I scalped, I was like the whole episode, they're looking for who killed this person. And I'm like the salon employee who's like terrified, like, oh my God, please find who killed my boss. And it was me. And then for The Rookie with Nathan Fillion, that ABC show, I basically play someone who like got broken up with. And I had tied up my partner in the house and Nathan's walking past and sees, and I slam him over the head with a shovel, tie him up, he's suspended, and I'm like pulling a gun on him, like losing my mind. But yeah, the guy who's going to cause harm, yeah, that's definitely
So
my role.
play good, crazy
you think
people.
I'm really sweet at first, and then it takes a turn at the end. Yeah, that's happened for me a couple times.
Manipulative.
But anyway, long story short, it's outside of the typecast
I can
role.
see that for you.
And now,
Yeah.
listen, I feel like Meryl Streep, who I share a birthday with, I don't think she wakes up
When's
every
your birthday?
morning, June 22nd.
June 22nd.
She doesn't wake up every morning and say, I gotta play a lesbian so people can know I'm an actor. And so for me, if I continue to play all queer roles and they're dynamic and multifaceted, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But early on, what people meant by, I think, typecasting is you're only going to get to play gay and there's barely any gay roles and they suck because they're not the central part of the story. Now, there's been an evolution where a character could be, a chief of a fire department. He happens to be gay, but it has nothing to do with the story, like life. And so that we are expanding how queer characters are portrayed by I'm not a writer, so but what I audition for now, it's not as basic as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be such a cliche. And some jobs I've taken are money gigs and people see it and they have all these issues with it. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
What do you think about straight actors playing gay roles?
I was just gonna
and
ask.
So this is a really good point. First of all, there's some people that I feel like we have to keep them. Like Stanley Tucci, straight, plays a great gay. Devil Wears Prada, great gay. Burlesque, great gay.
I always forget that he's straight.
Straight, right?
Yeah.
But here's the problematic part. You still have people in decision-making positions who won't see gay actors for straight roles, even though they would kill them, because in their mind, they personally cannot get their gayness out of their head, even though the person would do a great job.
Yeah.
So that stigma's still there. So now this actor can't audition for anything but gay. And that really diminishes someone's opportunity to work. Couple that with the fact that when the person gets on set, and I've played opposite straight men a bunch that were supposed to be my boyfriend or husband, sometimes it can be weird. They treat you differently. And if you were a woman, they would be able to have better chemistry with you. Their affection would feel more normal.
Have you ever had a straight guy be like, "Oh, I'm kissing you right now"? And it's like,
my first job was in Rent, and when we got to the kissing part, where my character kisses another guy, it was my first gay kiss in life. And I was 18, and I remember he freaked out and he was almost fired because he, just didn't think he could do it. This was 1997. I was like 18 and I'm like, oh my gosh.
that's horrible. That was your first gay kiss.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a cabaret show at 54 Below, which is formerly Studio 54 in New York City, and it's all about love, sex, and relationships, like your podcast. And I call it 1,000 Sweet Kisses, which is one of the lyrics from that song, specifically where that happened. But I talk about these funny stories. I mean, that was my first gay kiss. My first gay sex thing, it was so embarrassing and horrifying. I didn't do anything with a guy for another 9 months.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I can laugh about the story now, but when I told
What was
happened,
so horrifying about it? Come on.
I mean, if you had drinks, I'd be like, take a sip right now. All right, I'm going to tell you a quick version of it. So basically, I get sent to Canada to open Rent, the first international company. I'm 18, never lived alone, but there I am. We're in rehearsals. One of the guys who I think is straight, hunky, like muscly, probably your type. He literally is like, hey, I know you're also American. We're staying in the same hotel. Do you want to come over? We can order pizza and play some video games. I say,
Don't
sure.
tell me this was a really dark experience for you.
I'm going to let you decide. So
You don't have to share it.
no,
if
it's I used to tell this story kind of like shaking and whatever, and now I tell it like crying, laughing. So I go to his place because he said pizza and video games, and I don't know what to wear. I admire this guy, and I had an attraction, but I'd never seen like gay porn or anything. I'd never done anything gay. So I was like, well, how does this work? And then you don't put a penis where poop comes out. So I just didn't understand gay stuff. But I knew I was attracted to him, but I knew he was straight in my mind. I don't know him at all, but I'm assuming, based on how he presented. And so we order a pizza. He offers me a drink. I never had alcohol. I grew up born again Christian. So I have this drink, a fuzzy navel, which is peach schnapps, orange juice, gateway drug. So then he's like, he brings out a bong. And I'm like, fuck, we sing about weed. I should probably try it, like method actor. Yeah. And all of a sudden I smoke, I have the drink, we have some pizza, playing video games. It gets kind of quiet. And he's like, you got to kiss a guy in the show, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's like acting and stuff. And he's like, you ever kissed a guy before? And I was like, no, never. And then it got quiet and I was like, wait, have you? And he was like, no. Well, actually, sometimes on the road, me and the guys would make out, but just to fuck with the girls. So now my spidey senses are going up like, what's happening? And he's like, and I was like, wait, you kissed your guy friends? He's like, yeah, dude, you want to kiss one of your guy friends before you have to do it on stage. You don't want to freak out. And I was like, well, I don't know anybody like here. And I don't think my friends back home would really.
I could see how it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, right. In that moment, you're 18. This is the first time your heart's racing. You know, when you get like your ears start turning red? Yes. You can't hear, like everything's getting, yeah. So then he's like, well, I'm your friend. Right? We can kiss now. This way you don't feel uncomfortable on stage. So there I am. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We start kissing and suddenly I get it. Like everything starts to make sense. I had girlfriends, I had sex girls. This felt different, right? It was a good fit. And and by the way, like he's all muscly and I was all twinky. Like you're feeling this Adonis of a human. And before I knew it, like his hand was on the back of my head and I was on my knees and there was a penis in front of me, but it was uncircumcised and I'd never seen one. So I was like trying to find it, right? There you are. It looks like it's crying. I'm doing this with it. I'm like, don't play with your food. But then he literally, without any warning, I'm like, okay, if I do this thing, now I'm going to be gay. If I put it in my mouth, I did. 60 seconds later, he comes. And I have never had anything like that happen. Now remember, weed, pizza, and liquor.
Yeah.
Now semen. I'm on my knees. I look up at him. My eyes well up with tears. And I threw up. I threw up on him 3 times.
Oh,
and that, dear watchers, is how I became a homosexual.
And that is exactly why you asked somebody, do you want to suck my dick?
Yes. Well, also,
And
he
not
knew,
just
I
stick
think
it in
he knew in
someone's
the
mouth.
moment, right then and there, oh, he really has never done this with anyone. I think he kind of felt bad.
He probably thought that you guys were both playing.
100%,
Like,
100%.
oh yeah, no. And that's kind of like what.
But that was my
guys do on
first
the road.
gay anything. And I didn't do anything for a while after that because I didn't have queer elders or even programming or YouTube or anything that could have like, I guess we had chat rooms. We didn't have cell phones that had internet. So it was, learning on the fly. And I wish there were more like depictions of gay romance or anything. Huh?
That does sound a little traumatizing. Just
yeah.
like
I mean, I told a girlfriend about it like a year later. Yeah. And I was telling her about it like, and you'll never believe. And she started dying laughing. And ever since then, I laugh about it because I'm like, oh, it is kind of funny. And I've seen the guy since, like all these years later.
What is he doing now?
So I tell this story in my act and then I sing the song about it. And then, and he was like, he came to see my show and he's like, was that me? I was like, how many dicks do you think I threw up on in my lifetime?
Yeah.
Really? It was you. Yes, sir.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Is he straight now? Or
no, he was gay, but he was just, more masculine presenting. And at the time wasn't really thinking his sexuality was, he was playing a straight character and he didn't want the cast or anyone. Yeah. He didn't want anybody to know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you said it was 1997. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a different vibe and people were like kind of keeping things close to
I mean, just everybody's more open the last couple of years.
Yeah, and you can find. I always tell people who feel isolated and alone, you like work hard to try to find your tribe.
Yeah.
Find the people who don't judge and who receive you and embrace
you. Can find it.
Your family of choice.
Yeah, you can absolutely find it. I know we chatted a while. Is there anything that you?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, that's. I mean,
I'm a talker.
No, I
Yeah,
just have a couple more questions here for you, Jay. You were recently on Nora from Queens with Aquafina. Is she really funny as she seems?
So I didn't have scenes with her, but everyone on that set, you know, it's a good set when the crew is really happy and they love their jobs. And so my scenes were with Bowen Yang, and it's like pinned, I think it's on my Instagram if you want to check it out, at JAI Rodriguez. But I put the scenes there because they use the scenes as the trailer. Bowen Yang is playing a struggling actor in New York, and he gets a job on this series that's like SVU, but like a homoerotic version. And I played the detective he's got beef with. He was a delight because in my mind, huge star, right? And he's also in Bros. And the premiere of Bros was that night, but he had to work. So I shot with him during the day and I did the red carpet without him. He wasn't there at the party and anything, but it was like a really lovely experience when you're new on a set and everybody's really nice.
never seen that before.
Yeah, and I think that really trickles down from the top. Because people always say, like, whoever the star of the show is sets the tone. If they're professional, they're kind to everyone. Everyone else looks at that and tries to mirror that.
Yeah. Somebody needs to be the leader of
Yes.
You don't want to make friends with anyone.
No,
Yeah.
no. I don't need friends.
I'm honestly going to keep watching just to see if you end up happily with your top masculine inmate.
That doesn't. That's not
I thought
exactly
you
who
were
I'm
the
looking
top.
for. I don't really have a type, actually.
I thought you were the top. Or no, you
No,
told me you
I
were-
didn't. No one came in with the top part. No, I'm
Oh,
versatile.
I thought that's what you told me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you did say that.
I thought the so many bottoms thing was...
No, that was just I was telling her that, like, that's a thing in the gay community. There's apparently,
Not
especially in
enough.
West Hollywood, like so many people that want to
Also,
be
there's like
penetrated.
perception of like who tops and who bottoms, and you'd be shocked to learn that like most of the drag race girls are tops. You know,
Yeah,
you
there's
never really know.
girly boys
If you-
are the tops.
Yeah,
in
if you
lot
see
of
a
these
big
situations.
roided out guy with like
Yeah.
a twink,
Yeah.
the big guy is probably the bottom. And, like,
Yeah.
there's no rhyme or reason of who likes what and why, and you like what you like, you know.
But usually it's like
Sometimes people get, you know, they think they can sniff it out, like, oh, he's so masculine. And I'm like, yeah,
that. Wait until you
yeah,
see.
it's part of the charm of it. It's part of the fun.
Your show is happening when?
Yes. So 54 Below, New York City, happening October 26th, 27th, and 28th. And then Palm Springs, my buddy and I get confused for each other all the time. We're just two Latin guys around the same age. He was on American Idol. I was on Queer Eye. His last name was Hernandez. My last name is Rodriguez. And we get so confused for each other. So we decided to do a versus kind of show in Palm Springs at Oscars Palm Springs on October 15th, first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. And we're calling it Hispanic Panic. And
Cute.
which is like take
That's
what,
really-
like play off of what people already think.
Yeah.
And comedically talking and singing about all the
I
kind of
saw the
stereotypes.
promo you
Yeah,
made
it looks
for
like a
it.
boxing
It's like
match.
two,
Yeah.
it's like a UFC fight.
Yes.
And that's
Hernandez
what's
versus
in right now is
Rodriguez.
the whole getting people to like fight and stuff like that. That's so trendy.
Yeah, so we thought we'd make a little musical comedy, you know, top 40 and some Broadway stuff, and then tell funny stories about. We get mistaken for each other all the time, and we look nothing alike. But just
Love it.
But those are the two cabaret shows. One with David in September, and then 3 nights. It's like I haven't done a cabaret show in New York in over 17 years. After literally having been a fixture in nightlife there, it's sort of how I got Queer Eye or how I got on their radar.
That's exciting.
And it's like scary. It's exciting because it's like legendary Studio 54.
Yeah.
Now 54 Below, and it took me a while to even like. I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me, and I don't know if you ever have imposter syndrome, where you're totally qualified for the thing that you're being asked to do, but then you're like, oh my God, like me? Why me? You know, it's- But it's exciting. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Every day.
Well, make sure you
Gotta
go
be like
catch
that.
Jay.
Yes.
This has been so fun chatting.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I'm such a
good.
fan.
Every week.
Thank you for being our first gay guest.
Yes.
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 We'll come back and find out if James ends up coupled with someone.
Yes.
We'll
he will
see.
be.
We'll just get him a crush.
Yes, I
A
say
crush
just
who
a crush.
validates you.
Just a pen pal is all I want
Yeah.
you to have. Not all I want you to have. I want you to have everything, but
for fear of having any more inmates, I better, I guess. Just in
I just
case
thought
I'm,
it was
like, on
easy
some
for a
registry.
pen pal because he can't get out to actually like bother
bother
you
me.
because you know
He will not be in your space, hogging your covers.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and Moo Moo, you know, she doesn't want, that's my little dog, Moo Moo. I don't know if she can handle having another person around.
Moo Moo's
she might
great.
not.
She loves everybody.
She's so cute. She has a period at the moment, but that's a whole other story. Have a great week, guys. We will see you next week. This has been us and her and him.
Yes.
Bye.